Hello, welcome back to Something Positive for Positive People. I'm Courtney Brain. Something Positive for Positive People is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides herpes support resources to people navigating stigma. I do a lot of things, and narrowing it down to the things that are most impactful. Teaching yoga, I'm hosting this podcast, I'm conducting research, I'm putting events together, running support groups, trying to host workshops and educational things, as well as training healthcare providers, y'all. But as I mentioned before, stepping away from this podcast was probably the biggest mistake that I could have made, because I think that this is, in fact, what people are finding to be the most impactful thing to them. So I plan to remain consistent in producing podcast episodes. I have a list of podcast guests. Fortunately, I started to put out an intake form for people who are interested in being interviewed. So I have that to follow up on, and I'll be bringing guests back after the May 23rd Herpes Stigma Conference, which is virtual. You can visit www.spfpp.org/conferences in order to register for that today. Or it's just on the homepage. When you scroll down, you'll see the conference. I put it everywhere important so that you'll be able to very easily find it, access it, purchase tickets, and register for the conference. At this conference, we have 4 presenters, and also as an added bonus, this is a new addition, we'll have the No Shame in This Game film documentary screening. It's a 22-minute documentary. Afterwards, the producer of it, Jolene Hernandez, I'm in this documentary too, so you get to see me on camera, you know what I'm saying, in my element. But this was back in 22, y'all. I was looking rough. I ain't have my barber. I was cutting my own hair. Woo! But it was great. It was just an artistic expression of what people who have herpes are experiencing, right? And yeah, it's beautiful. I don't want to give too much of it away, but that's a bonus for the conference. That part will not be recorded, because this is something that the way that she shows it is through experiences. So it would be like stealing her work and making it my own if I were to record that. But Dr. Eveline Dacker, who's going to be speaking to healthcare providers on what's necessary to take a stigma-free sexual history. Nikita Fernandez is the sex therapist who's going to be speaking to mental health components of herpes stigma. We've got Dakota Rampant, who's going to be talking about stigma-free education. And I myself am going to be delivering the data analysis. So you've got 4 great workshops, as well as a documentary as a bonus. I want to shout out WISP, the American Sexual Health Association, and Affirm in Arizona, Sexual and Reproductive Wellness for All, for being our sponsors of the conference. And yeah, thank y'all for making it possible to make this thing happen, y'all. Like, my first conference is happening May 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. Get your tickets today. All right. So, as I mentioned, I'm doing a lot of different things, and narrowing it down to like how I want to run something positive for positive people has been a journey. It's been a journey, to say the least, and I thank you, everyone who has been here for as long as you have. I thank you to anybody who might just be listening to this. And today, actually, I reviewed the analytics for the website, because the web traffic has been going crazy. Roughly 200 people are seeing something positive for positive people's website per day, and they're all going to the same web page, the frequently asked questions. So people are looking for answers to herpes related questions, because I guess they just aren't getting them, and that's how people are finding something positive for positive people. And with that, what I'm starting to learn between that and then looking at who's purchasing tickets to the conference, I'm seeing a lot more healthcare professionals. I'm learning that it's not through people with herpes that stigma is going to end, because it's a like self-perpetuating cycle of stigma keeping people from doing the things that I'm doing. For instance, like happy to talk to people about herpes stigma. I'm happy to talk about, the falsehoods and the misinformation, but not everyone is willing to do that because of stigma and fear of what people will say about them, because of fear of people thinking or finding out that they have herpes themselves. So my angle adjustment after speaking to my homeboy who's, we work together, he's one of my closest friends. We were talking today and he was like, hey, I might be thinking 20 steps ahead, but why aren't you, providing this information to healthcare providers? And I think it's because I had a very negative experience when I first started the podcast, reaching out to healthcare professionals and just hearing no and like, oh, we only can provide information from credible resources. And now, look at something positive for positive people here 7 years later, an established nonprofit organization that's up to the IRS and Secretary of State standards in all of the states that we operated in so far. I think that the credibility might be there. Having IRB approval for the most recent survey gives us some credibility there as well. So I'm able to offer, these survey data statistics to healthcare organizations for them to share. And in fact, I'm already hearing from people who work in organizations that they are sharing these resources. So what I'm putting together now is, and y'all can approach me now if you're a nurse practitioner, if you're someone who does STI testing or you do the treatment diagnosing, please reach out to me because I am actively right now putting together subscription options for healthcare organizations to have them be able to empower people who are living with herpes with the resources and education and information that they need to go on and make whatever decisions they want to make. Oftentimes I talk to people with herpes for the first time and they're like, I wish that my healthcare provider would have given me these resources. So they go on to find me after however much searching they do or however they search for me. And if they happen to find me, now they can ask these questions and get the answers that they need. All of the workshops that I create, all of the events that I've tried to put on, and like, granted, it's on social media, so social media and me don't really get along as of lately because of the sex education, sexual health, the barriers that are there and the restrictions that social media is appearing to put on sex related content that isn't, entertaining, right? So that's been a challenge of mine, and my target audience being healthcare professionals who serve people with herpes, I think makes a lot more sense than me trying to run this organization exclusively off of individuals' donations, trying to look for funding. I think that what we have to offer is something that is unique and uniquely useful to nurses, nurse practitioners, public health professionals, and organizations who, wish to have more accurate sexual health related information in regards to herpes and minimizing the impacts of stigma. These are the people who I believe care more, who have more credibility as well, and can benefit from a lot of these workshops that I host, that I invite people to, where I try and talk about, herpes disclosure, the intersection of sexual health and mental health, and how we can go about minimizing stigma, not just within ourselves, but within the education system, within STD prevention, within youth education. These are all things that, alongside training and simulated experiences for healthcare providers to practice hands-on taking a sexual history, communication skills with patients, I believe that these are the initial touch points where stigma can be minimized, it can be addressed, it can be alleviated, and we see that there will be people who come away from their doctor's appointment a lot more empowered to navigate stigma than they have been historically when working with healthcare providers. So I'm saying this because if you are someone who works in an education facility, if you are in STD prevention, I please send me the contact information of the person who I would need to speak with about creating this subscription to something positive for positive people, so that we can have access to, and have ongoing access to these herpes related resources, because I'm finding that a lot of healthcare providers really need that added support, and individuals really need to hear what it is that I'm saying from a healthcare provider. And I can't do it all myself. Like, the healthcare field, I think, looks down on me, or has looked down on me historically, because I don't have letters behind my name. No, I didn't go to medical school. I'm just a person with a passion, a sense of purpose, and I give a damn. And because I give a damn, I'm willing to put my experiences out there and call in people, who are struggling with stigma, and give them what I know to give them, and offer as means of support, which is what my yoga practice has been over the last several years, in offering this presence, offering this healing, and extending, what's been useful to me to the people who are navigating this themselves. And I'm understanding that that's not for everybody, and I get it. I had someone reach out to me overnight, filled out the one-on-one donation-based support call form, gave me their email, phone number, name, why they were reaching out, and I got that information, and I emailed them, and the email came back, hey, wrong email address. So I shot them a text. I was like, hey, I saw you filled out the form. I got a different email address. Just reaching out to let you know, like, if you want to schedule that call, once your donation comes through, we can set up the time and day to have the call. And they responded, oh, I'm sorry, you must have the wrong person. I didn't do that. Don't contact me again. And, I was sitting there, and I was just like, okay. And all day it bothered me that I said okay, because initially, like, I had a response. I wanted to be like, hey, don't insult my intelligence. Like, you don't get that far and that thorough of and through a process of something and then tell me I got the wrong person. And I had to sit with that for a while and, like, ask myself, like, why was it so important for me to respond or say that? And it was actually, my girlfriend. She was like, no, just say okay, leave it alone. So I just was like, all right. And then time passed, and of course I felt like I needed to say something. But I was sitting in one of my yoga therapy, it was a webinar on the chakras of business, and the second and third chakra they were speaking to really, like, brought back up my thoughts about this. And it was very much out of alignment as me, who I am, to have just said okay, or to have not addressed, the elephant in the room at all. So I actually responded, and I said, hey, it really doesn't feel good to me to have responded in the way that I did, because that's really not who I am. And I don't know, what you might have expected from me, but I have to respond. And here's what I have to say. Like, I've been disconnected from where you are at this point. I didn't want to go and trigger them about herpes or anything like that, so I was just vague enough to where they knew what I was talking about. I've been disconnected from where you are. When you're newly diagnosed and, you do a brave thing. I just apologized or I didn't apologize. I said, I acknowledged that was a very brave thing of them. And I thanked them for it, for reaching out and being willing to have a conversation with me, even if, they might have gotten a little bit of cold feet at the end. So I just acknowledged that, and I was able to say, when you're ready, I'm here. That felt more in line with who I am, which is what this workshop that I was attending was speaking to, and the importance of consistency. And I realized, like, for 7 years now, I've been consistent up until a few months ago when I decided to put the podcast on pause while I tried to do everything else. But the thing that really sparked my creativity and I was excited about, like, I do enjoy yoga. I enjoy teaching the classes, but I had about 11 people show up, and I'm gonna be real with y'all, for the letting go classes, I had probably 3 people show up. I invited a couple of other people, like, privately, and these were the people who showed up. So, I mean, I might have had attendance at 4 or 5 of the classes out of what's up right now is 16 or 17. Yeah, 17 classes are up right now. I've got 3 more to do before the week. Yeah, before the week is out. Yeah, I got 3 more, and that's it. And it was really discouraging for me, right? Like, that was one of those things where it felt like it was a great idea. It's a direct service to the community. We're offering opportunities for people to engage with one another. It's something that's useful. I was able to justify it as being supportive to sleep as well as emotional health, which have been shown to us in the survey to be main triggers for people having outbreaks. So I'm thinking I'm doing this bomb thing, right? And it's really hard to get people to show up. And I have to remind myself, right? Like, to me now, it's about building community, because that to me is the cure. We're not going to get a cure for herpes, but what we can do ourselves is cure stigma. And when we cure stigma, what happens is we make herpes irrelevant, because it's really only relevant when we have to tell a person or when we have to deal with the symptoms. And if we're taking care of ourselves in a way where we don't have to deal with the symptoms, then when we tell a person, like, we're confident and we know what we want and we know the quality of the person that we're telling, it's not going to really be a concern of the anxiety that comes with having to disclose our status to a new person, right? Because once we're in a relationship, when do we really have to talk about it at all? Like, if we're in our ideal situation, herpes is not an issue. And if our body is in its ideal situation, herpes is not an issue, right? So I just let this person know, like, I'm here, reach out when you're ready, whenever that may be. And if you're not ready, then that's okay too. But that felt so much more like me. And I recognize that I've been doing a lot of shit that's not me, y'all. Like, the grant applying applications, I keep saying that, but like, that's how much I've been holding in, because it's burned me out. And when I recognize that I'm going in 5 different directions and all of them are not the direction of, really doing the things that I want to be doing. I want to host my podcast. I want to do my yoga, or teach my yoga. And the education, I love talking, right? I enjoy, the educational component and the person-to-person engagement, and the training for the healthcare professionals, right? And I'm figuring out a way to really bring that together and bring that into the mix, so that people don't, like, I don't have to ask people for donations. And if people want to donate, then they can. So looking at organizations who have funding that is to be allocated towards these educational workshops and things like that I'm offering through something positive for positive people. I think that that's the route that I'm gonna go and commit to. The money's out there, the people at the organizations who find value in the work that I'm doing and the information that we have. I think that this is for y'all, right? Like, when I talk about how to disclose, when I talk about these statistics and the communication components, like, there are trainings and workshops. There's like dozens of trainings and workshops that can be hosted off of the survey that we did for people with herpes alone. And there aren't any herpes resources out there. There's not herpes organizations that are out there. There's a lot of social media influencers. There was an organization, a nonprofit that was out, the Project Accept, was for people with herpes, and unfortunately they are no longer running. I don't know if it's public information or not, but I talked to the executive director, founder, about it, and she said that they're not doing that anymore. They're just not. Let me just leave it there. So as far as I know, I'm the only nonprofit organization that exists in relation to herpes stigma. That there are others out there that are advocating for cures, but herpes stigma, herpes education, right? Like, the more accurate and real information we get, I think that the less relevant stigma is. And at the very minimum, we can get to a place where there's more accurate testing. And with that accurate testing, more people know, yes, they have herpes, no, they don't have herpes. And with that, we have more understanding of, the likelihood of getting it. We have more people who are willing and able to talk about it, who are more accepting and understanding of what the potential outcomes are, if you do have herpes or if you don't know if you have herpes, right? And understanding that condoms actually don't protect you from every single STI that exists. That's another really key component to this whole thing, y'all. And a lot of people don't understand that for whatever reason. I don't know. But as a one-man army, I think tapping into my network of healthcare professionals, public health professionals, and offering this subscription format, like becoming a member of Something Positive for Positive People, and being able to offer what incentives that includes, I think that the expansion of that will allow for Something Positive for Positive People to grow and expand to where there can be more of these community functions that draw in people to come be part of a community and not do this thing on their own or not navigate stigma on their own, but to find community and make herpes stigma just completely irrelevant. I believe I can do that, and I believe that, like, I feel very strongly about this. I had conversations with two of my board members so far about this particular idea, and now I'm putting it out there because here we are, podcast episode. I need to put this out, and now having this podcast episode out, there's accountability. All right, accountability is now in the works. As a result of me saying it. So now this is what I got to be doing. So I have the conference coming up May 23rd. I also released the September 29th conference or expo that's going to be in NYC. This is just called the Safe Sex Expo. And it's on September 29th. More details will follow if you go to the offerings tab of Something Positive for Positive People's website, SPFPP.org. You'll see there that the early bird tickets are on sale. We've got play shops that are going to be presenting on the spectrum of safety and pleasure. Like, people think that when you try and incorporate safety into pleasure, that it takes away from pleasure, or the more enjoyable or pleasurable something is, like, the less safe it is. So we're combating that. We're integrating safety and pleasure into some interactive, engaging, and communicative workshops that we have, as well as vendors. So if you're someone who is connected to somebody who'd be a great fit for something like that as a sponsor, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm doing this in collaboration with Jolene Hernandez, who is the producer of the No Shame in This Game documentary film. And we're combining resources, our connections, to make just a day of play shops, of vendors, of community, of celebration, and if we get enough money, food and refreshments. So yeah, y'all, I was worried for a while about Something Positive for Positive People. I'm losing members, which is sort of expected to happen, but I don't know that I'm really giving members anything, because I make everything available and accessible to everyone. And the only thing that people don't pay for are things that they hear me talk about if they listen to the podcast on a regular basis, right? So I don't have a solid business model as far as getting donations, as far as, retaining memberships. So that's just what it is. I don't know what else to say about that. Like, I am reaching out about having things organized, but then, like, randomly a person every few weeks might show up to a support group and be like, damn, where is everybody at? It's just me and you. And then be disappointed because they expect, more people like me or like them who are part of Something Positive for Positive People, because they want to see more people that are like them and at a place where they want to move through stigma, right? Or just some sense of community, right? Like, I'm really advocating for this sense of community, and we have that, as people one-on-one listen to the podcast episodes for themselves, or as people engage with Courtney one-on-one, right? But what happens when Courtney's removed from the equation? Like, is there just no more community? Is there no more person for you to reach out to and share and open up to and be able to express, hey, this messed up thing's happening. I had this situation happen. I have this disclosure coming up. How do I go about moving forward with that? So I think I need to, sort of clone myself among healthcare providers by producing workshops, offering a library of resources, handouts that can be distributed directly from healthcare professionals, providers, and that's the plan. I'm gonna take some time to work on that. I have a very busy upcoming week and a half, y'all. I'm moving to New Jersey. I saw my place. It's real. I'm gonna be moving to Passaic, northern New Jersey. I'll be more easily accessible to get to New York City. I saw them tolls is like $17 or something each way. So I will be taking a bus. I'll be busing back and forth to New York City and commuting that way. I still don't plan on having a car. But who knows? I mean, yeah, the way that things are shifting with something positive for positive people, I might even be able to get a physical location. Like I'm very much manifesting that. No, I don't necessarily need it at this point, but I'm in yoga therapy school. I would like to be able to have a space for people to come into for yoga therapy, even yin yoga classes, right? Yeah, ain't nobody coming to the virtual class, and here I am talking about hosting real classes. Ain't that crazy? No, but people ask me how they can support me, and I always say, like, there is nothing we can do without money. So make donations, yeah, but I think what's more important to me right now is that the healthcare organizations that you're connected to, that you like, that you think need work, or that you think can get behind being someone who can contribute on a monthly basis to, mind you, y'all, we're a nonprofit. Like, something positive for positive people is a nonprofit. This isn't a for-profit thing. So this is tax deductible. All the money that comes into something positive for positive people is tax deductible. And so the organizations that I'm advocating to be able to provide resources, workshops, and trainings for, who are on the new subscription plan that is rolling out as we speak, these are tax deductible. You can write this off on y'all's business taxes. So if you're an independent, private office, if you are even a Planned Parenthood, I've got connections. So I'm reaching out to my people who I'm connected to already to see about, what kind of value I can add to these, because when I'm hosting these workshops, I want to be able to pay guest speakers to present on their area of expertise. I'm connected to very reputable healthcare professionals who can speak to the science of herpes, transmission rates, and things like that. But I think what's most important is the experiences of people living with herpes and being able to translate that to healthcare providers, so that when they go on to take histories, deliver diagnoses, that they do their part in minimizing stigma as well. So I've been doing a lot of presentations, workshops for other people, but I think it's time to just have that be in-house, y'all. And if you want to help grow something positive for positive people, I really think that it's important that, if you don't want to share among the public, like I said, the people who are looking for the information will find it. I think that the healthcare organizations need to be on the Something Positive for Positive People membership. These are going to be different tiers than our normal everyday members, different offerings. So if you are already a member, there's no need for you to have these resources that I'm talking about for healthcare professionals. If you are an organization, please reach out to me. If you're part of an organization, ask me, because it's coming together as I'm going along. I have some very important things that I need to iron out over the course of the next few days, but believe me, by the time the conference is here, I will be saying, here's what this membership looks like, here's what is on there now, here's what you can expect moving forward. These are my goals. Like I said, I spoke it. This is what I'm choosing, and we here, y'all. We here. So that Letting Go series, if you are currently a member, you should be able to log into the letting go tab. You'll be able to access all of the yoga classes there, and watch them one by one, move through the process of letting go. I'm in the process of also writing a book. So the outline for the book is complete. I'm waiting on my publisher to get back with me with feedback so that I can write it up differently. And we'll have an ebook out, the Something Positive for Positive People Letting Go of Herpes book, or it'll just be by Courtney, right? So we're going to be letting go of herpes stigma, y'all. So if you want a membership, remember, events are free. You get this kind of stuff for free, as just a thank you for being here, for rocking with me, because I don't know like what I'm doing. I'm figuring it out as I go. And y'all been here, y'all know I went from I've been paying for people to get therapy. I've been hosting these support groups, to teaching yoga, to the podcast, right? And you're watching this organization refine itself in real time, and I think that's a very beautiful thing. It's very beautiful to see y'all be part of this. I've been looking at the analytics, and we have a little over 10,000 subscribers, and it's interesting because with Apple and Google Play, you see the subscriber count. People don't actually press the subscribe button. What happens is people come back and listen to the new episodes, and that's what it sees. So my RSS feed shows me that 10,000 people regularly come back and listen to podcast episodes again and again, but don't press the subscribe button. Don't leave reviews, right? And these are the things that grow nonprofits. So like I said, yeah, y'all, I understand where you're at. I understand how difficult it is to get involved, how difficult it is to make it real by taking an action that puts you out there to the world as being connected with this nonprofit organization, right? Like, yeah, you might send me a message and then delete the thread. You might accidentally follow me, hurry up and unfollow me. You might make a new account, say something to me, follow me, and then go away, right? But those things, I guess they're energetically doing something, right? But realistically, if you want to get involved, you want to do something, the smallest thing you can do is just tell me who I need to talk to. Tell me who is a decision maker at this healthcare organization near you, or that you know somebody at, or that you're aware of, so that I can just pitch them. Give me a shot. Just give me a shot to be able to pitch these organizations with this money that comes in. I'll be able to put these workshops on for the healthcare professionals so that they can treat y'all better. And when they treat y'all better, they also are talking to the people who don't have herpes and giving them the information and education that they need to go on. And when they have someone disclose to them, they know how to respond, right? These are the kinds of things that I'm doing that I struggle to get people to show up to. So podcasts, weekly, support groups. I need to know that people are invested in coming. So the members of the Something Positive for Positive People membership, I can hear from them, but it's mostly women and a couple of guys. And if y'all are wanting a support group that meets, I can do every other week, one for a men's group and one for a general population group, and then I can teach the yoga classes as well. But if there's no interest, I'm not going to do it. And I'm only doing this for members. I'm not going to do this pop up every now and then. Whatever I do is going to be consistent. I am very much honoring consistency after this conference, because I've been all over the place sporadically for way too long, and I'm getting my life in order. I'm getting things together. I have to be more structured and streamlined, especially coming at these organizations and expecting them to, essentially fund my purpose and allow for me to be able to continue to do all of these free things for the community, such as reach out to, interview podcast guests, and bring these additional values and offerings directly to the general population of people who might find this podcast, and be able to offer these support calls and everything else it is that y'all are finding to be useful and valuable. Yeah, I thought I was gonna come here and talk about something else, but I guess it was really heavy on my spirit to ask y'all for help, right? Like, this is my ask. My ask is that if you are connected to healthcare facilities, organizations, like, tell them about something positive for positive people. Tell me who I can email there or call there and talk to who might be willing to hear me out and make a case for why they what they would get out of and why they should be members of something positive for positive people, and what kind of resources we have to make accessible to them to be able to serve their patients who are navigating herpes stigma. Like, holla at me. All right, that's my ask, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode. If you like this, please rate, review, subscribe. And I understand where you might be, so I ask that you just follow through on my ask for me, y'all. Follow through on my ask. ASK, not ass, ASS, right? I think that's what it sounded like I said. September 29th in person, New York City. It's going to be an expo, Safe Sex Expo. Go to the site, buy your tickets now. This is early bird pricing. We got speakers, vendors. We're looking out for those. We're looking for people who want to volunteer. It's going to be at Hit Me Up Space in New York City. The virtual conference, the Herpes Stigma Conference, is May 23rd. Please buy your tickets as soon as possible because this thing is... It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually in the process of working on my presentation and condensing the information down to what I believe is going to be the most valuable to the attendees so far. We got the St. Louis County Department of Health. I've been trying to get in these people's, like, radar for so long, and I don't know what it has been. I think that it partially has to do with herpes just not being a priority. I don't know, but I think things about to change after today. Mark my words, y'all. It's April 24th, 2024, and I had these ideas today. Let's see how soon we can get, who's to say we can't get 5-10 organizations on board with the Something Positive for Positive People membership, and before long you see that our survey data is being handed out to people right upon diagnosis. Our yoga classes and our podcast is being handed to people on a card or something like that. I don't know. So I'm working on it. Thank y'all for supporting me. Here's how y'all can continue to do so, even if behind the scenes, in a way that I believe is as incognito as possible. I thank y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for more episodes of Something Positive for Positive People, especially where I'm not, just talking about my experience and running this business. Also, I have like a column. I guess I'm a columnist on Pornhub Sexual Wellness Center now. So I have like 8. I'll have 8 articles on May. Early May is when the most recent one comes out. But I have various articles about herpes and like aspects of herpes stigma on there. I looked up and was like, yo, I'm actually a writer. I'm over a herpes stigma writer, y'all. So if you look me up on the Pornhub Sexual Wellness Center, except Texas, because I think they banned Pornhub there. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't get there. But I'm on that thing, y'all. I'm on it. So bear with me over the next month. Oh my God. It's a month from now, y'all. The conference is a month from now, and I'm going to be in the process of moving across the country. I have my last few days of my other job in Portland. These are going to be really long days. They're 10-hour days, which for me is more like 15 hours because I got to get up like 3 hours earlier. I got to go to the gym, shower, get to work, get these genital exams. I get an hour break and then go back to it. And then I got to say bye to people after the work day ends, go to sleep, get up, do it again. I got it 3 days in a row that look like that. And then I'm off to New Jersey, y'all. I got a training to continue to work part-time teaching the genital exams. I want to be able to continue to stay connected to the medical world. So working part-time at NYU as a male urological teaching associate still. And I start yoga therapy training. So lots going on over here. But yeah, this is my primary focus. I'm doing this, y'all. This is the work I'm doing. So Good vibes, y'all. Good vibes. All right. Till next time.